What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today I have a question to ask you guys in relation to the Chicago Bulls. And that question is, if everything stopped right now, if the Bulls said we are done making changes right now, will the Chicago Bulls be good enough to get to the bottom record, some of the worst record in the league? I wouldn't necessarily say the exact bottom. And can we actually go and compete for a first round pick, a first overall pick, I should say? Basically, as we see it now, is the Bulls one of the worst teams in the league? If everything stopped, and I'm going to have to give my opinion on that in this video. Again, the point of this video is to try and demonstrate that there still needs to be more done if we are truly going to go in the direction of younger, potentially even tanking, if you want to put the phrase to it. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether or not you think, as of now, the Bulls are in a terrible position, or I guess in many ways, if this is a good thing for you, in a good position to fall to one of the worst teams in the league. Now, we are well aware that the Bulls have made clear indications of the direction they want to go. With the acquisition of Josh Giddey, the trading of DeMar DeRozan, and even the falling out with guys like Zach LaVine, it is clear the Bulls are going in a different direction. This core just hasn't worked, and unfortunately, we can't really go back to the days where it did work. Things just happened in unforeseen circumstances, if you know what I mean. So with that being said, it is time now. It is time to kind of suggest more moves. But if it all stops, where would the Bulls be? This is only my opinion. Feel free to chime in if you want to play along as well. So, I personally think this team is still too good in order to compete for a first overall pick or the number one pick in the NBA draft next year, the tank for Cooper Flag, whatever you want to call it. This team is still too good for a couple of reasons, and I literally mean that, a couple of reasons. Number one, Nikola Vucevic is still on the roster. Now, you might be saying, well, it's Nikola Vucevic. What do you mean? Of course, that's not going to really impact the Bulls winning. I would have to disagree on that one, ladies and gentlemen. Nikola Vucevic is someone for the Bulls that has averaged 17 points and 11 rebounds in the last 2 seasons, I believe, of his, time with the Bulls. And I'm sorry, if you have a player like that on your team, especially in the center position, you're going to win games based on him just playing well. He plays well, the Bulls are going to win some games. It is as simple as that. So I do think there is a clear indication that we still need to make changes in that regard. Nikola Vucevic will help the Bulls win games, will take us to situations where maybe this season we don't want to be in. And that is something to keep your eye on. Now, with that being said, if we were to trade Nikola Vucevic, this could be a different story. But that leads to the second, point of the video. It might be a short video here, ladies and gentlemen. That is Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine is still on the roster. Now, I personally think, if for whatever reason Zach LaVine does not get his trade out of Chicago, even though I've said many times I would want him to play if he does stay in Chicago, I think the relationship has been too far broken. I don't see a way Zach LaVine gets another game in Chicago. Let's just say we don't get the trade that we're after when it comes to Zach LaVine. And let's just say Zach LaVine will be a Chicago Bulls player by the time Game 1 begins. I find it hard to believe that he's going to have a consistent role here in Chicago, knowing the fact that his agent has spoken now negatively about the Chicago Bulls, knowing the fact that the relationship between Zach LaVine and the front office is pretty much close to broken, and everything in between. I think Zach LaVine probably won't get a game here in Chicago if he is to stay here. Now, people disagree on that. One of my best friends, actually, we had this conversation a couple days ago, and he says if Zach LaVine does stay in Chicago, he is going to play. I personally don't believe he will play. But at the end of the day, it's up in the air. It's a coin toss, in my opinion. And ultimately, if Zach LaVine does play in Chicago, if he is to stay here, he's going to get you wins. He is someone that is an unbelievably good scorer at his best. He's going to be coming back with a point to prove, to try to increase his trade value. And therefore, that is going to get you some wins, ladies and gentlemen. Now, those two alone are not the only reasons why the Bulls could potentially win some games when it's all said and done. It's them, plus the additions of the players that we already have. For example, Kobe White. Kobe White had an unbelievable, at least first half of the season. He was second in the most improved category, and hopefully he's going to have another big leap and bound season where he could take the next step and he could become probably our best player. He has the potential to do that next season when it's all said and done. So Kobe White being on this team is instantly going to give us more chances to win as well, with the additions of Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic. Ayo Dosunmu, you're expecting him to have a moderately similar season, even potentially step out a little bit more as well. There's always a potential for that. Patrick Williams should be back, hopefully by mid-season, towards the end of the season as well. Maybe hopefully at the beginning, if need be. Players will be coming back. The acquisition of Josh Giddey, sure, it's not Alex Caruso, but Josh Giddey does fit well with a lot of the guys I just mentioned. I think he would fit well with LaVine. I think he would fit well with Vucevic. I think he'd fit well with Kobe White. I think he would fit well with Patrick Williams. These are all our key guys. I think Josh Giddey could fit well with them at the end of the day. So it's not just LaVine and Vucevic that I'm talking about, but I guess the biggest point to take away from this situation is LaVine and Vucevic are the players that we could do something about. I don't think anybody's sitting here saying we need to trade Kobe White to go and tank for Cooper Flag. Because the harsh reality is, Kobe White might not be your number one option for the Chicago Bulls, I guess, on a winning team or a championship team, but he'd be a very solid contributor on a championship team if you give him the right players around him. So I wouldn't be trading Kobe White or Ayo or Patrick Williams, because those are the guys you kind of want to have that foundation around. And even that is a bit of a worry, because I think if you trade Vucevic and LaVine this season, before the season begins, I still think Kobe White, Ayo, and potentially Josh Giddey, Patrick Williams, maybe the occasional step up from some of our bench players is enough to actually win you some games. Now you might be saying, well, yeah, they could win some games, but they would still be the worst record in the league. Honestly, without LaVine and without Vucevic, I still think Kobe White and the Bulls team now, with Josh Giddey and Ayo and Patrick Williams, whatever other players that we get on board, even Chris Duarte, I still think we're better than teams like the Pistons. I still think we're better than teams like the Wizards. I still think we're better than teams like the Brooklyn Nets. All teams now, I guess, looking to go younger, looking to trade assets, looking to potentially fight for that first overall pick and the tank for Cooper Flag. If we're going to put ourselves in that conversation, we need some serious thinking to do and some serious moves to happen. So where we stand right now, if everything stayed the same, I still see the Bulls as a play-in tournament team. Now that might be very surprising for some, but I think if LaVine is to stay here and he is to play, I think that elevates us dramatically. I think Vucevic, with no DeMar DeRozan, will probably have a little bit more of an impact on this team. I think Josh Giddey and the whole system around, I guess, the spacing of this team has improved a little bit since last season, and we will play a little bit faster than last season as well. So the team looks different, and I'm definitely not saying the team is better than last season, but I don't think it's that far worse to the point where we're saying the Bulls can't even make the play-in tournament. I think they could finish 10th the way things are standing right now, because of the teams that have gotten worse, as well as the fact that we still need more changes to be done. So that's the point, ladies and gentlemen. I'm basically coming here to say, if the Bulls keep it the same, we will probably finish in a play-in tournament spot. And that, in my opinion, is just not good enough right now. We shouldn't be in the play-in tournament. You have to pick your direction. Either you go and tank for that Cooper Flag position, or you go and try to compete. Clearly, we're going down one direction. We need to see it through, and we need to make those changes in order to give us the best possible chance. It may not be possible. Maybe the Bulls' key is to just get into the top 10 so we can keep our pick. That is probably maybe their goal. Maybe they're not trying to go for the first overall pick. Maybe they just want, I guess, to just get into the top 10 and just have that pick for ourselves. Keep in mind, it is going to be a stronger draft next season, so a top 10 pick could actually bring you something extremely valuable. We'll have to wait and see. But with that being said, I'm going to end the video here. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below. I understand people will say, look, we got rid of DeRozan, that's 25 points per game. I understand that, but again, I just feel like there will be guys stepping up to the plate, like Kobe and Ayo, and even Giddey. You got LaVine and Vucevic still there. Yes, we have lost DeRozan, and that will definitely help, I guess, help us lose more. But I just don't think it's enough right now. You still have to get rid of the other core pieces, and we'll have to wait and see whether or not that will get done. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.